Welcome back to Pen and Prosper, a podcast where JT Lawrence is coaching me, Melissa Delport, to be a six-figure author. And we are absolutely thrilled today to have Marissa, also known as Mrs ScribeShadow. I just learned that there is a Mr ScribeShadow. Welcome, Marissa, to Pen and Prosper. We are honestly thrilled to have you here. And I know we're going to dive into everything, and JT's going to be asking you some questions, but from me, I just wanted to say welcome. And yes, we are delighted.
Hi, Marissa.
Thank
Welcome.
you. I'm very, very excited to be here.
Marissa,
Okay.
can you give us a quick rundown of what ScribeShadow is for someone who's never heard of it?
Of course. So we offer authors a fast, affordable, reliable way to translate their book and get them into global markets. We're kind of dipping our toes into other things as well, but also metadata, blurbs. We just launched cover translations and audiobook creation as well. So just trying to give them a tool that they can use when they might not have otherwise been able to afford to.
I'm so excited to talk about the cover aspect now. I think that's amazing. And I'm also very interested in the audiobook aspect. So we'll get into that.
Sure.
How did ScribeShadow start?
Well, my husband and I, we used to run a small publishing house. We had handful of authors. I think we had that since around 2014, and only just recently, because ScribeShadow was doing so well, only just recently kind of moved away from that. But we've been in the trenches with indie author problems and everything like that. And so we know kind of how translations can be prohibitively expensive, especially for small authors. So it actually started as my husband, he's the brains behind everything. He wanted to try to find a quick and easy way to get some of our books published and kind of break into those markets. And he worked on it for a while, ended up hitting gold with it as far as what actually worked, and, realized, hey, there's a real need for this out there. And that's kind of where it started.
Oh, that's amazing. I know that it's basically changed Delport and my author careers because we went from
It's launched mine.
Yeah. We went from just having English titles to having titles in like 5 different markets, like overnight, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you that in July, with translations alone, the translations brought in $22,000. So
Oh, wonderful.
may we just say thank you very much to you and your husband for putting up this amazing software. We did an episode
It's incredible.
recently about like our favorite software, and you guys were definitely there. You've just made such a difference in our bottom line, basically. And also, we were saying the other day how cool it is to like chat to readers in different countries, in different languages. With Google Translate,
Yes.
you can have a conversation with one of your Italian readers, and it's so cool. So thank you so much.
Awesome.
And
Oh,
please give
thank
your
you
husband a
guys.
big hug for us.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to hear that. I love hearing the success stories. And yeah, obviously we want to have things that can keep our family afloat and but to hear the fact that it's making a difference for other people is just,
Yeah, it really is. It's
icing on the
amazing.
cake.
It's amazing. And I don't know
It
if you
is.
know Eve Newton. You must know her. She's in the Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
She
I've heard, yes.
she is the translations queen. First of all, she
Uh-huh.
writes like crazy. I think she puts out a book a month or every 2 months. She writes so fast, and then she puts out in all the languages. Can you imagine how well she's doing? She's incredible.
Oh, yes. I don't know how people can write that fast.
Yeah. No,
But
I mean, me
it's
neither.
that's awesome. That's so great.
But it's amazing because even if you're a fast writer, let's say you can put out a book a month, but now all of a sudden you can put out 10 books a month because you're doing all the languages. It's just
Right.
career changing.
Yeah, you can, and breaking into markets that you would have never
Yeah,
even thought
absolutely.
about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Can you please walk me through the process? So if there's someone who's never used ScribeShadow before, how do you start? How do you upload the book, pick a language, and get the final translation?
Sure. You guys kind of know us since you use it, but it is pretty straightforward. I do think we have a few good tutorials out there for people who need a little bit more in-depth help or whatever, just not that adept with computers, but it's pretty easy. Basically, you can upload your document in an EPUB or DocX format, fill in some metadata details, title, author, genre, things like that, and then basically select your language to translate. Right now, we have, I think, 19 different languages
Oh,
that you
wow.
can choose from. So you can also go a step further, choose customizations on how you want certain things translated, like choosing to have certain words never translated or always translated, depending on the language and what's in your book. And then a few minutes later, after you click translate, it's done, usually 15, 20 minutes at most, and it's ready for you to download. And a lot of our authors just download and do any additional formatting they feel like they need to do for wherever they publish and send it off.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So super,
It
super
really
simple.
is. It really is. I mean, as someone who, honestly, when I say I do not understand any tech, even I can use it. I'm like the best ad for tech. If Delport
Yes.
can use it, anyone can use it.
Awesome.
And just
Awesome.
a quick on what we were saying about career changing. I don't sell hardly any English copies. All of my revenue comes from translations. So I meant that
Oh,
when I said you
wonderful.
literally made my career. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Very cool.
Marissa, where can people find those tutorials that you mentioned?
They can check them out. We do have a YouTube channel,
Okay.
but there's a link to it on our website. And because we have a website that's scribeshadow.com, which kind of gives you the basic overview. And then, of course, to use ScribeShadow, it's app.scribeshadow.com. And both of
Okay.
those have links to the tutorials.
Okay, great. Talking about your website, I'm just thinking of your logo. Is it a crow or a raven?
It's a raven.
A raven, I love it.
Yes. We're trying to harken back to Edgar Allan Poe.
Nice.
And actually it's a her. Her name is
Okay.
Saga. We've just recently decided to make her part of the group. So in fact, we're heading out to Mink next week after next, in Florida to hang out with a bunch of authors. And we have new little Saga plushies.
Oh, cute.
It's so cute. They're the cutest thing ever. And they're so soft.
Oh.
But yes, it's a raven.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I love that she has a name. I was going to ask, but I didn't want to seem strange.
Oh no, she's got a name.
She's got a name.
She's got a name, backstory, everything.
I want to plush, yeah, I have to tell you. How does ScribeShadow make sure that the tone style and character voices stay intact?
Perfect. Despite popular opinion, AI doesn't just mechanically kind of translate anymore. It's kind of where it started, but it's gotten so much better. We've also added a ton of customizations to the back end to help, but they've really gotten really good about keeping the language and the voice intact. Another thing is we're constantly testing and adjusting things in the back end to try and make sure that all of that really does stay together when the translation goes through. But the more you kind of give the system as far as like genre and as much information as you can input when you're uploading your book, the better it will be output wise.
Yeah, sure. What does ScribeShadow do to keep kind of cultural errors to a minimum?
We have a kind of a testing process in place. So again, we're constantly testing and adjusting. I say we, it's my husband. That all looks like gibberish on the screen to me. But we're very careful also to listen to subscribers, because even if we read and figure out like, oh, well, this language prefers it this way, these people like this, whatever, it's always better to hear from actual people. So we're very careful to listen to our subscribers. And if they notice something not quite right, we'll kind of do a little research on it, see what needs to be changed and address it as quickly as possible. So we're constantly tweaking and making changes as they come up.
Okay.
If I can interrupt, does your husband actually make the changes? Is he a coder or a programmer, or like is that what he in his wheelhouse?
Yeah, he's a huge nerd. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Okay, that's very okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
that's his background.
Okay. All right, great.
Yeah.
My next question is, this is a question I get asked all the time. Do most authors get their translations proofed by a human?
Most of our authors that we talk to don't, and they just download and get straight to publishing and usually have great results. It's always an option to get a human proofreader. Like we've partnered with wordcount.inc. It used to be Problem Solved Assurance. But even with that and paying for their costs, depending on what your book is and all that, it's still more affordable than a traditional translation route. Yeah. But I would say most authors, they just go for it and have had good results.
That's what Delport and I do. From the beginning, we've called this an MVP thing. So minimal viable product. And we're just going to get them out there and see what happens. And we haven't actually seen a need to have them proofed, because yes, there may be errors, but it doesn't stop the readers from enjoying the story. And
the reviews are great.
Yeah. I mean, most of the reviews are great. And every now and then there's the review that says the translation is bad, but it doesn't really seem to stop people from buying and reading and enjoying.
Funny enough, mine is less that the translation is bad and more that they'll say, oh, this is AI. So I do wonder if it's not just that small, loud crowd that doesn't like AI, that wants to not like the book, if that makes sense. Because it's not like it's bad. It's just, oh, this is an AI translation.
Yeah.
So
Right. And I think that's something that as AI progresses and new models come out, and we're constantly changing and updating. I think, like you said, there's always going to be people, even in English, even even in straight English books who are going to nitpick
Of course.
at every little thing. And on the same token, you've got, even if you went through a human translator, there's going to be errors because none of us are perfect. Yeah. So, and I think that the ability to get your book out there and have it, I mean, like you said, you still get good reviews. You still, you know, your book is still selling.
Yeah.
Would we love to have it perfect every time? Absolutely. That would be ideal. But we can go with the limitations of AI and try to tweak it as best as possible to have that good result. So,
and I would rather have like a 90% correct translation out now than have a 95% correct translation out in a year's time, because I would have lost a year's worth of sales and reads.
There's no way I would be able to afford a translator. The way that my career was, I mean, done is better than perfect, right? And the reality is that there was no way I was going to put my book into translations because I couldn't afford a human translator. So that wasn't an option that I even could have made if whatever my decision was. And a lot of authors are in the same boat, you know, contrary to popular belief. A lot of us don't make that much money that we can.
Exactly. It can be very prohibitive, and there's nothing against traditional translation. We love translators, and it's just most of the people who use ScribeShadow would not have went to a traditional translator anyways because they quite simply couldn't afford it.
Exactly.
They would love to if they had the money. Yeah, give it to somebody.
I don't think you're
taking
support. I don't think you're taking any work away from humans. I don't.
Yeah.
I think you're creating a product that enables people who otherwise wouldn't be able to do it. That's it.
Absolutely.
I think it's wonderful.
And the more money authors make, the more we can hire out things and hire more people, more humans.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I have zero moral problems with using certain AI tools, and this is one of my favorite AI.
Wonderful.
Delport, why are you giggling so much?
I'm giggling. I'm thinking of that meme. How I sleep at night, knowing I use AI to translate. You know that, like a baby.
Oh, we should definitely make that into a meme for this episode. So one of the amazing new features is that you can translate covers now. How does this work? Like it's like blowing my mind. Yeah,
magic. it all feels like magic to me. Yeah, we're really excited about it. Hopefully, it will continue to be refined, as we were talking about, as AI gets better. This might be one of those things where if you have issue when you're trying to translate your cover and it's just not coming through because of having a person in front of the word and it just doesn't pick it up quite right, that might be an issue where it's like, okay, maybe not retranslate your whole book, but maybe redo the cover. But yeah, right now you can take any cover that you have the rights to and run it through to translate the text. AI's gotten so good about not messing with all the other details and trying to keep everything as intact as possible while just changing the text. Like I said, some covers will do better than others. If it's like a really curly, funky text and AI has a little trouble reading it, it might not do as well. But we know it's not perfect. So we've tried to set our pricing in a way that keep it affordable, even if you have to do a couple of iterations to get it right. So if you do one and it's like, oh, that's not right, if you can try it a couple more times, it only costs like 500 credits to generate a cover image. We also have an option to generate a brand new cover, and that's a little bit more because it's starting from scratch, but we try to keep it as affordable as possible because we know it's not at that point where we can just be like, oh yeah, this will do it exactly every time. And then we also have the option to add a sticker. You can do a regular cover where it just translates the things, but you can also add a sticker that says German version or Spanish version.
Yeah, that's what we do for our book. Just add a little sticker.
It's becoming a proper one-stop shop that you're offering, which is fantastic.
That's the hope. We want to try to give as much as we can to everybody so that they can just come to one place and do the things they need to do.
And talking of that, let's go into audiobooks, because I don't think many people know about your audiobook offering. I'm super interested in it because I love audiobooks. I'm all in on English audiobooks. So please tell us what kind of offering you have.
So again, it's the same. We use credits for all of our system, and I know we can go into that in a little bit, but it's everything, like she said, it's a one-stop shop. We have it set up to where you can upload your translated book and run it through an audiobook creation section. It's kind of like 11 Labs, things like that. Choose your voice and whatnot, and then it will give you the files. Same type of thing. thing. You can just take those files and upload them to wherever, Audible, wherever you're trying to upload your audiobook. And yeah, it's pretty much a simple, straightforward process, just with audio instead of text.
Do you use 11 Labs tech, or is it your own software? What's the difference?
It's not,
do it through you or through 11 Labs?
It's not our own. We leverage what's out there, try to customize it and work with it in the back end to make it more correct for our authors instead of just going in and uploading. And I mean, yeah, you could go to 11 Labs and do that if you know what you're doing, what prompts to put in, all of that kind of stuff to make it perfect. We just try to handle all that in the back end for you.
So could you say it's like you can take your book and translate it via ChatGPT versus ScribeShadow? ScribeShadow will do a better job because it's got all those built-in prompts. And then it's basically the same with audiobooks. Instead of going to 11 Labs, you go through you guys and you've got these built-in prompts or a built-in system that is better for a novel.
Yeah, I think it definitely can help. We're trying to, like I said, in the back end, we're putting these different notes and different things that we want the AI to kind of keep in mind or remember and put towards your file. If you have the ability to go through 11 Labs or, any other AI audiobook, that's great. If you just kind of want to do it all in one place, this is the way to do it.
But will you have, what I love about you is there's 3 buttons. You put your book up and there's 3 buttons. You can press translate, export, and even where you give me 2 choices between best, better, then I get a little bit skittish. Whereas I actually produced an audiobook on 11 Labs and it's about 47 hours of my life. I was exhausted. I think if you're really tech savvy, if you really are that person who loves tech, who loves to play and fiddle and faff, but I really struggled. So I'm interested to see your version, to see if you just give me the 3 buttons.
Yes, give us the 3 buttons.
It's definitely very user-friendly, just like the rest.
Yeah, your interface is fantastic.
Great.
Let's talk money. ScribeShadow uses a credit-based system. Can you please explain how that works?
Well, it basically comes out to about 1 word equaling 1 credit. However, that kind of does depend on what subscription level. We have different subscription levels for every type of author. So obviously, if you have a larger subscription and you have a lot more credits, they're going to be less per credit. A typical 80K novel would cost less than $50 USD. Wow. So all of the credits, like I said, work for our entire site. Audiobooks, covers, whatever else we put in next. We're not going to have different systems for different things and you pay this for that. It's all going to be, it's all credit based.
And do those credits roll over to the next month?
They roll over for 1 month.
1 month.
Unless you have purchased forever credit, or like if you have gotten a code for forever credits, whatever, those will stay in your account until they're used.
Okay. All right.
So otherwise they'll roll over for 1 month so that if you don't quite get to something at the end of the month, you're not just out. You've got a whole nother month to go back and use it.
And I know some people are nervous of subscriptions, but basically the ScribeShadow, you can change up and down as you need it, right? So you can go for like the really big package and get cheaper credits in a month where you're translating lots of books, and the next month you can use the smallest one.
Absolutely. Yeah. We don't want to have you locked into anything specific. Yeah. Would we like everyone to choose our biggest package and keep that forever? Sure. Yeah. Let's do that. but
just write a book a month.
Exactly. Yeah. We know that everybody works at different paces, and people who maybe have a huge back catalog, they might want to spend 1 month just translating constantly.
Yes.
And then other people, they don't have that big of a catalog, so they only need to do a couple books for now, but they want to keep it to just work on covers or metadata or keywords, hoping to bring out some marketing stuff soon. So that's all. Yeah, you're not stuck in one big thing. You can move up and down as you want.
My husband does translations for me and for some other authors, so he buys credits in bulk. So even your biggest package is not big enough for him.
I like to hear that.
I must say, it's a very honorable thing, and it's also very rare to not try and lock people in and to have this, because it really is rare. Like, because I've obviously got a lot of subscriptions for a lot of different softwares, or most authors I think do, and I love that I can fluctuate because I did have a big back catalog. So I stay on the big plan now while I'm getting that whole catalog done, but I can see that in probably the next 2 months that's going to run dry, and then I don't need so many, I'll only need as going forward. So I think it's very cool that you don't say, well, you have to lock in for a year, whatever you do,
Oh
you know?
yeah. No. It's part of being reachable for as many people as possible. And
yes.
if you had to get locked into something where you knew you were spending this larger amount over the whole year, that's not viable. And that's not really the way many authors work. If you have a huge back catalog and you don't have a lot of time and you're only going to translate a couple of things a month, but you might need that just to keep going, great. If you want to do that, that's absolutely fine. But if you just want to get in there, do a few books, of course, we want you to stay and come back and do whatever, because that keeps us afloat. But also, we don't want nickel and dime you to death, and we want to make sure that you can get your money's worth and only get what you need.
Marissa, what would you say are the most popular languages that authors are translating into at the moment?
Well, as most things with publishing, it does vary by genre what works for which one. But in general, we have seen that the best results so far are German, French, and Italian in that order. And then Brazilian, Portuguese, and Dutch are coming in after that. That depends on genre. I mean, because there are some genres that do better. And then, obviously it depends on books. And it can all be finicky in publishing.
Yes.
But that's kind of what we've seen, what we've heard from our subscribers, that those are the most popular ones that they're doing right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
I agree with it too, because although I did so well in Italy and I did it second, when I did French, that actually did better.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I just had to do it about face, just
whereas my fantasy does so well in Germany and my romance does nothing. And my romance in Italy is fantastic. So it's so interesting. Same author.
Yes.
Okay, different pen names, but same author, same quality of writing and completely different outcomes.
Yeah. It's a very finicky thing.
Yeah. What would you recommend for, let's just talk about the three most popular genres. Let's start with thrillers. Which language would you recommend for that?
Okay, so for those questions, I'm not the person to ask right now. However, one thing we have in the works is trying to get out a marketing knowledge base for our subscribers, so that you can go in there and see what's doing well, what language is for, what genre seems to be doing well. And we're trying to compile all of this information based on real world things, not just what Google says. Yes, we want to take in, I would love to sit here and say this, but I don't want to tell you the wrong thing right now. And I want to make sure we have that in, locked in, so that, because I don't want to be like, oh yeah, do this. And then you spend money on it and like, oh, well, that's not. So as always, again, being so finicky, things change often.
Yes.
And what's popular in one place for a few months may not be the best option. And if, just depending on how readers go. And I know that's the same in the US market as well. You for a little while, you have the dark romance being like everything. And then it changes. And it's like, okay, well, now I have to change my whole strategy. So we're working on getting our hands in that marketing knowledge base, and hopefully we'll have something out soon and continually update it and keep it relevant for authors to go back and check and be like, okay, what should I do now? What's best for my book? And hopefully that will be out soon.
That's going to be so fantastic. I think it's going to help so many people. I can't wait.
So valuable.
We're excited about that.
One of the things that I think with you guys that sets you apart is that you're so accessible, though. Like we having you here on the pod, but in that Facebook group, like people ask questions and they get answered and there's interactive. And then do you know what I mean? Like you're very, very accessible to it's very clear that your customers are not just customers. You are kind of, like you said earlier, you want the best for the people that are using your product.
Yeah,
and I think it does.
Not a greedy kind of tech person in Silicon Valley, whatever. It's
you can't get any sort of help, or you get an AI, but you know what I mean? Like it's very, I find that it's very cool that you guys do make yourself so open, accessible, and that question, you can hop into a Facebook group and ask a question, and then even the community is so passionate. Someone will jump on and answer you.
The community is absolutely wonderful in Facebook, and we have a Discord group. A lot of times before, you said, we try to get in there really quickly and answer questions and handle things. But if we aren't, if we're busy doing something else, or we're not at home and we're not available to do something, usually the community jumps on it before we can even get to it. The only downside to that is like when we've got trips coming up, because we're doing NINC and we're doing Author Nation and the London Book Fair, those days we're still bringing our work with us. us and trying to get to answers and problems and anything like that as quickly as possible. But there will be some days where it's like, hey, and we're gonna note that too on our site, that like, hey, if you need us today or you're having a problem today, it may take us a little bit longer to get back to you, but we're carrying our laptop with us everywhere we go.
Everywhere.
Yeah, you're super responsive and also so helpful. Like I've seen a lot of people who are just starting with ScribeShadow and they've maybe done something wrong, or they've translated a book in some way that they've basically wasted their credits. And you guys jump in there very quickly and say, no, don't worry, we'll sort that out for you. So we really appreciate that.
We want it to be usable. We don't want people to get in there, make a mistake and be like, oh, well, I just wasted something. It's like people make mistakes. We make mistakes. So, and if your error is brought to our attention, something that we've done wrong or that we, didn't quite fix, we try to get in there and fix that as quickly as possible, because we want to make sure that, we got it right for you.
Thank you. Can we talk about different languages? You said 19 different languages so far. Some are in beta. Which are in beta? And specifically, I've been asked by someone in the 20 books group, when will Japanese and Hindi be available?
So right now we just moved Polish, Ukrainian, Russian, and Swedish out of beta. So we feel like those are at the point where we can, we feel comfortable saying, hey, go use these as you wish. In beta right now, we have, let me see, I wrote it down. We have Catalan, Japanese, traditional Chinese, simplified Chinese, Thai, and Hindi. Other than Catalan, though, those are quite a bit more complex, challenging languages to get right. So we don't really have an ETA on when those are going to be out of beta. But we have had feedback from Japanese and Hindi people who translated in that, and the beta versions for those seem to be working really well. But we're always listening if someone's like, hey, I really would like blank language. You may not be able to get on it immediately, but we always write it down and have it in our next set of languages that we work on.
Okay, then I have a request. I would like you to do Icelandic, please.
Icelandic? I will write that down.
I know it sounds absolutely bizarre, but I was doing research the other day. Grok tells me that per capita, Icelandic people read the most romance in the whole world.
It would make sense. They're in the dark so often. They've got to do something. It's actually, that's one of my bucket list places to go.
Well, now it's tax deductible because you can go and visit for research purposes.
Right, I do. I love the way that I'm definitely going to write that down. It'd be great to have every language available, but obviously
Afrikaans, Delport, Afrikaans.
Yeah, there's only 44 of them. There's only 44 people. Charlize Theron said there's only 44 of them. So.
Only 44. Well, they deserve to read your books too.
Guaranteed 44 sales, okay?
There you go.
No, there's loads here. There's loads. I think I'd make a lot of money actually.
The Afrikaans book market is huge.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions from the 20 books group because I went like 2 days ago and said, I'm interviewing Marissa and who has questions. So the first one, I'm not 100% sure what the second part of the question is, but let's just try and answer as well as we can. It says, please ask about box set processing, one click to combine. So I'm guessing that is just you load up the whole box set and one click to translate the whole box set. Is that possible at the moment?
At the moment, there are no current plans to do that. Reason being, the problem that we run into with box sets is that many authors have front matter, back matter, different things in each book, and combining them, leaving or deleting anything that may be needed or unneeded is very difficult and can vary so greatly from author to author. It might be something in the future, but right now we don't have any plans for that because of that difficulty.
That same person said also, if there's a way just to do covers without loading the book for pre-orders.
And you actually...
if they are working to fix formatting glitches. Okay, there'll always be formatting glitches, right?
Right. Well, that's the thing. The background formatting code in EPUB and DocX can be very complex and diverse. So we're always hands-on, as you said, with customer support and trying to fix that if someone brings us an issue, whatever. As far as covers, you don't have a book that you want to translate. You just want to do pre-orders, things like that. The best way to do that is just make a dummy DocX file. It doesn't even have to have anything in it. And upload it as if you were uploading a full manuscript. And then it will bring you into the pages where you know, the metadata and all that, where you can go ahead and put in your cover and do the translation just by itself.
Oh, brilliant. That's such a great hack. Thank you.
Yeah, you don't have to do a full translation just to get the cover done. Awesome. So if you want to just take a book that maybe you already had translated and you want, if you have the rights to the book, you can translate it.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic.
And the cover.
Next question, which models are best best for each language? Are the newest models always the best? Should we always jump on the new model when it releases, or is there a way to read more about it or see the differences?
So we do have processes and testing in place to test each model, new model when they become available, and we test them with each language that we have. For the most part right now, ChatGPT 5 and Gemini are the best for most languages, with an exception here or there. We do say when you're in the process, you can see when you click on your language and it will automatically default to what we have found is the best language. You can change it if you want to, but the only one that we've really seen that hasn't done as well with ChatGPT 5 or Gemini right now is Brazilian Portuguese.
Okay.
Again, that's noted in the program. I think it's Claude 3.7 that it's good with. When we release a new model, we like to give out that information. Hey, this is what's doing it. Of course, we update our recommendations within the program as well.
Yes, so JT, you don't do it, but when you upload it, actually gives you this little drop down arrow and it'll say best,
Yes,
better,
okay.
good. So you can clearly see which one ScribeShadow is recommending.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
brilliant.
and all those recommendations, like I said, they're due to pretty rigorous testing that we have in place to make sure we give it all the things that we're looking for, and we test and test and test and kind of take a big look at summarize everything that we're getting back and see what seems to be doing the best with all different aspects that we're testing.
Okay, can you ask them about a batch translate option? For example, if I want to translate my latest book into German, Italian, and Spanish, having a one-click option to get it processing instead of 3 separate actions.
It is something that we're aware that there are people that would like that option.
Want to just
to like go through and click like I want this one, this one, this one. The benefit would be, that you could select 3, 4, whatever languages you're looking at and walk away or go do something else without having to come back and okay, now this one's done, I'll start that one.
Dialogue tags are sometimes handled poorly. It would be amazing if we could give the AI some orientation to avoid these issues. Now, I don't know if they are handled poorly or if it's just confusing because French has 2 different kinds of dialogue, quotation marks, and I think it can be confusing. So what are your thoughts about that?
Yes, I agree. It can be confusing. Dialogue tag can be very confusing. Really the only ones that we've seen actual issues with, and it's given us some trouble, is the French M dash.
Okay.
But recently we have put in a few new processes in place to help with that.
Okay.
And we haven't seen as many things coming. But yeah, that's one of the things that I would like to have in our marketing knowledge base is a lot of people, if they've never translated before, and obviously if they only speak English and they've never read books in other languages, they don't realize that there's guillemettes and inverse quotes and all of those things that other readers are used to and they're not. And that can really be a huge turnoff for readers of other languages if they're like, oh, well, they didn't even try to get it in. I think knowing about that is part of it, but also it can be confusing. But again, whenever we get something, hey, this is happening, or we're seeing this, we try to go in and tweak it to get it to do a bit better, especially as the language models are improving.
What are the common mistakes authors make when prepping a manuscript for translation, like dealing with idioms or formatting? Are there any mistakes that we're making?
Not really. The only issue we see sometimes with authors is not formatting their Word documents correctly if they're uploading a Word document. For example, not putting in chapter headings and whatnot, like breaks. So they end up trying to download one giant text document without any breaks. AI does not like that. So we've actually put in...
would you recommend uploading the actual formatted ebook then instead of a doc?
No, it's fine to do a docx. It's just make sure you have your page breaks and things, and, your chapter headings and stuff in there. And if you do try to upload something that isn't formatted correctly like that, specifically in docx, it will spit it back and say, no, you got to make sure that this is, done. Otherwise, you're going to have a mess, especially if you have no knowledge of a language and then you're given back a giant wall of text in something you can't read.
Exactly.
You don't know where
you won't find the break.
It will spit it back out and be like, hey, you got to do this to it. But other than that, we haven't had anybody really, just some little things here and there that people do, but nothing consistent that we've noticed. Authors are pretty smart.
Once the book's translated, how do you market it abroad? For For example, should I focus on platforms like Kobo for Dutch, Storytel, or Adlibris for Swedish? And these ones I've never heard of, the Polish ones, Virtualo and Legimi for Polish. Have you heard of these retailers? What are your thoughts?
Obviously, there's some we've heard of, obviously, same as you, there's some that we haven't. But since we are working on that knowledge base, we do understand how important it is to know what's selling better where. If you're in one country and you don't speak the language, knowing how to market, where to put your books, that's the next big step. Translating, that's a huge step, but then what do you do with those files?
Yeah.
So hopefully we have that rolling out soon. Right now, obviously, Kindle Unlimited is only available in a handful of countries: Germany, France, Italy, Brazil. So any markets outside of that, authors would likely want to go wide and use other publishing routes. But that's one of those things that's going to roll out in our marketing database, trying to figure out what's best.
When that will be available?
Hopefully within a couple months, we'll have at least the start of that out, but it'll constantly be growing, added to, just to make it relevant and up to date and all of that.
So I think then that people can focus on those retailers, but really you do have to go wide to cast the biggest net.
Yes, yes.
But I guess what they're saying is when you focus, like let's say we're focusing on Kobo for Dutch, then you can go as far as to do ads for Kobo readers. That is interesting because, I mean, at Delport, I told you about my Dutch ad, didn't I? I got like a 3-cent click. So my romance series, book 1, Kobo ad specifically, and I targeted it on Facebook, Kobo, and then within Kobo, only romance readers. So very, very tight targeting. And I was getting a 3-cent click on that ad. So I think
I've seen wonderful success stories about Kobo in the ScribeShadow group though.
Same. Yeah. But if you can really like niche down like that with your advertising, I think it's quite helpful. You can get like really cheap clicks that aren't rubbish clicks, like they're really targeted. Oh, another thing is a lot of people ask me, what do you do for Facebook ads? So what I do is I just take my best performing English ads and I just translate them with just regular like Google Translate or something like that, change the link, and usually
But from now on you'll be doing that through ScribeShadow because that's
yes.
Hopefully bring up Google Translate in this meeting. Could you not wait until we stopped recording it?
Absolutely. No, we're hoping to bring in some more of that, at some point in the future as well, where people can generate ads and things like that within different languages.
My goodness, can you imagine
one step at a time?
Do hooks. Imagine if you could, you can ask chat to take the hooks out of a book. Imagine if you could.
That's our plan.
Really?
That's the plan. Yeah.
In a different language, because we don't understand the languages enough to do that. But if you guys do it,
if we can pull, that's one of the things that we have on our radars of working to do and figuring out how to make, like you said, one-stop shop. Try to make it so that you can go in there, take your book, get everything you need, get it out of the system, and you're ready to run.
Amazing. What's taking you guys so long?
I know. That's what I tell him all the time. What are you doing?
Hurry up. But you know what? I think that your background in publishing is helping you in no small measure here. Like, you guys know what's needed and what authors need. So you see the marketing, you see through the marketing lens as well as because like AI translation is a very techie kind of thing, whereas you seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah. And we know how difficult it is. It's hard to get to know what ads to do where, how to where things, do testing and do all of those things, and then you throw it in a new language that you have no idea what it says. Oh my gosh. That's just a lot.
And it's like Japanese. Can you imagine?
Oh yeah, like I don't even understand anything that's on this page. I don't know where to go.
We'll be like that girl in Bridesmaids who does the whole speech in Spanish. It makes no sense. That'll be us.
Yeah, exactly.
I already know the answer to this question. It says, does ScribeShadow help with translating metadata like book titles or keywords to boost discoverability in foreign markets? Yes, we know that they do that.
Yep.
Next, how does ScribeShadow handle copyrights for AI translated works? Who owns the final translation?
You do. You own your books. The author always maintains control of their rights.
Okay, perfect. Where do you see AI translation for indie authors headed in the next few years? That's an interesting question.
So, yeah, obviously
Yeah,
things
great
move so
question.
fast. It's so hard to see what's actually going to be available when and see what's going to, what new things will come out. Anytime we have a new model or new things like that come out, we are putting them through our testing system immediately and taking advantage of any advances that they make. Sometimes it might just be small. Sometimes it doesn't do very well. In fact, there was something, I can't remember the exact model, but one of them came out not too long ago and everyone was like, oh, great, this will be great. And when we ran it through testing, it was not doing better than previous models. So we were like, no, like that's not what we want to use. And then the new version came out and it was better. So yeah, so we're working to leverage that technology to bring as many tools to authors as we can, like the cover translations and marketing, all of those things. So we're kind of just trying to ride the wave with it. And, obviously we don't have any special insight into AI, but when we see something, we jump on it and see how it may be of use to make our systems better, faster, more affordable, and offer more for authors that they may not be able to get elsewhere.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. Do you have any juicy author success stories?
I have a couple I can give
Apart
you.
from ours.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like I don't need any. So I recently have asked our Facebook group and Discord to give me some of their stories because they, people post them, but trying to go through and find those
Yes.
and, getting permission to use them and whatnot. So a couple of these are anonymous, but I find them very inspiring. Somebody said that translations were not historically financially viable before, and now they're adding $15,000 to $20,000 monthly just from translations.
Yeah.
That's a great thing. So it's opened their doors to help get them out of the limiting, increasingly competitive American market.
Yeah.
Another person said the whole process cost less than $400 and we don't know how many books or whatever they did or all that, but they made their money back on release day. And some of their old school translations took over a year to earn out.
Yeah.
And then my favorite one that we just got in, I won't go into all of it, but they said about 8 months ago, they were diagnosed with heart failure and they panicked because writing was how they provide for their family and they didn't know how they were going to be able to do it. So they found out about ScribeShadow, gave it a try, and they started a really small Facebook ad campaign for like $3 a day. And in that first month, they earned over 9,000 euros across 12 books with only about 400 in ad spend. Wow. So it has really allowed them to find a way to, and let them focus on their health without having to constantly churn in one market. They've really been able to expand. So I absolutely love it. Every time we get one, I'm like, did you hear this? This is awesome.
Yeah. Be honest, did you just cry a little bit when you read that email for the first time?
Yes, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I'm so glad. Like, I just want to go give them a hug. Like, I hate that they're going through this, but I'm so glad that they're able to use this and affordably get a way to bring help to their family.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I did want to let all your listeners know that we do want to extend an offer for new subscribers if they want to, and they can use the code pen and prosper 30.
Oh, thank you.
And that can give them 30% off. Yeah, that can give them 30% off their first month so they can get in there and try it out and see if they like it. And
is that pen A-N-D prosper?
Yes.
Marissa,
I have one more question.
Oh, you've got another question?
I have a question. Question before we close. You mentioned right in the beginning when we started chatting that Saga had an origin story.
Okay, well, I may have misspoke a little bit. Origin is a little bit different. She is, her background is she is our guide raven. She helps authors guide them into new countries carrying their stories worldwide. She's
the softest plushie that ever plushie.
Oh my gosh, she's so cute. I wish she was bigger. She's about this big, so she's a tiny little raven, but she's mighty.
I love that. I hope that she makes her way to SA. Where can we purchase her? Or is she just for the festival?
Well, right now she is going to be for Nink. We're going to be doing a few giveaways within their raffle, and she's going to be in their giveaway. So at this point, she's pretty small, but we're trying to incorporate. We, like you said, we try to be very open and accessible to people, and I feel like having a little bitty friend, a little bitty mascot makes it just a bit more fun.
Imagine how cute she'll look here when we get our French flags and our Italian flags and our little plushie. It's a vibe. We want to represent ScribeShadow here.
Awesome. I will see what I can do. I will see what I can do.
Marissa, when this all started, our podcast, JT famously called you Shadow Scribe.
For at least 2 episodes.
Hey, you know what? That's quite all right. I've been called worse.
I think I just want to say I think what's so incredible about having you on this pod is that in a company that is so AI driven and it's so tech oriented, you are just so like endearing. Like you're so human.
Yeah, you're so lovely. Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful thing to see a mom.
My cover has worked.
Go take off
I think that's important. And that's something that I've really been, my husband's been doing this for a while. He's had it in the background. I've done things as he's needed it. But it's only just recently, having this business had allowed him to step away from his 9 to 5 and work on this constantly. And so I've been kind of stepping away from other things that I do to help him and really, because it is just 2 of us. And a lot of people like you think or thought that we were a much larger company, but we want to make sure that we don't want people to think that, oh, we're such a small company, we possibly can't help, we're not going to be responsive, whatever. We want it to kind of be the other. We're not some big tech AI faceless thing. We're just a family, and we're trying to make it work so that other families can be successful. And I think that's important for people to realize that, hey, and also with my husband is on it with customer support. And sometimes I'm like, how are you doing this? Like, how do you have time to answer? And I don't know, he's amazing. And I'm a little biased, but we want to make sure that people know, hey, we're going to be there for you. We're going to try to do what we can and make it right. And you're not just another number. We want you to succeed. So
I love that. Absolutely. Like this cool family with this cool pet bird. That's what we're looking at you.
Exactly. I wish we had an actual raven. That's on my list next.
That would be very cool.
I think that's us. I can't even say we've peaked because I feel like I could do this forever, but we do need to let you get back to that beautiful family.
Thank you so much, Marissa. You've been amazing.
Well, thank you guys again for having me on.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, Marissa. And we hope that we see you soon. Bye.
Bye.